Welcome to Aegean Civ. My name is Mike Hyman, and I'm going to show you how to set up this game. It's in the Mint 10 contest for 2017, and this is a game that I chose. I sort of created by mashing up three other games together: Roll Through the Ages, Shooters, and Advanced Civilization. All three of those I've really had a fun time with, and I thought this was a good way to sort of capture that in a very small travel size, I guess, footprint. But that's just a travel size footprint, because when you play this, you're going to fill up quite a bit of table space. This is optimized for 3 to 4 players. There is a solo version and there is a 2-player version, but I don't think that those play as well, and I didn't create this game for that small group. So this is actually for a larger group, which is usually, well, it's just it's not as common for such a small game, for a Mint 10 game. But let's go ahead and unpack this, and I'll show you how to set it up, and then in another video I'll go through a round so you can see what a round looks like. So inside we have our components. We have our rule book. Actually, it's a rule sheet. It's 1 page front and back, and hopefully that would be easy enough to follow, but if you're like me, you probably prefer following or reading the rules by watching a video online. So we have 4 dice which are needed. We have 24 cubes, 6 of each color for the 4 different city-states that we're going to be playing. So we'll get out those cubes, and this always feels painfully slow when I'm not the one doing this. So I hope while you're watching me unpack these that you're eating an ice cream or something else that will take your mind off of how slow this is going. But anyway, so those are my cubes. Here are the 4 city-states. Now these city-states, these are what each player will play, and they play these things secretly. So these things are passed out to somebody, and that person sees what their city-state card is, and they just leave it face down, just like that. So they will leave it face down. We'll have these 2 people over here. We'll leave them face down so that the other players don't know which city-state you are. Because if they know what city-state you are, then they know, hey, I better not give Athens, I better not let Athens get a democracy card or an oligarchy card or a medicine card, because Athens gets bonus points at the end of the game for those. So we're going to keep those separate. Now, I'm just going to dump them out like this. That's a little bit easier. Next we have culture cards. I'll explain a little bit about these culture cards. These culture cards, this is what you are bidding for throughout the game. Now everybody starts out with this right here, which is called a starting army. It's a red card, so it's a military card. All the military cards have special in-game powers. However, military cards are not worth victory points at the end of the game. So you have to balance how many military cards you want to get and how many of the other cards, which are victory point cards, you want to get, because there are only 7 rounds to collect these. But everybody gets a starting army. So to start out, we'll put a starting army in front of each player. There we go. That's triremes, not a starting army. Okay, there we go. Starting army. And you can see it says little starter down here in the corner to help you find it. Red cards are military cards. Yellow cards are invention cards or civics cards. Yeah, civics cards. No, sure, civics cards. Green cards are government cards. You'll have some of these multicolored cards. Those are wonders. If you've played Civ, Sid Meier's Civ, and really if you're probably looking at this and wanting to play, you probably are familiar with that. These wonder cards, it's something that your city-state builds that gives you some other strange power. These are worth extra culture points. There were 2 culture points rather than 1 for each one of these, and they're very hard to destroy. Purple are the invention cards. There we go. Purple is the invention cards, and yellow are the civics cards. Blue are the philosophy cards. Some more red cards. Here are some wonders. Then there are some round 7 cards. These round 7 cards are placed off to the side. There should be 4 of them. And I found 3. Oh no, they're all 4 there. And these are leaders. These cards are played on the last turn, round 7, and these are leaders, and these will drastically change the point spread of the game so that it doesn't feel like somebody's getting snowballed throughout the game, or if it feels like they're way far behind, they can really catch up at the end of the game with these. It doesn't mean that you can just not worry about things to the last round, but this does help close a gap if there is a gap that you're trying to catch up to there in the game. So these are the culture cards, and you shuffle them up and put them in a pile here in the middle of the board. These dark cards are the decline cards. These are bad cards. You don't want to finish these cards because these all have bad things that happen to you. Either war, where you'll lose one of your culture cards of your choice, or something special. Like this one right here says anarchy. This one right here says revolution. This one's a famine. That one's a civil war. So these are cards that you don't want to complete, but you might have to. You shuffle those up, put those face down there towards the middle. These are progress cards. These you do want to finish the tracks on because they give you good things. So you want to finish these. And they have special things for each card as well. Expansion, trade routes, labor specialization, golden age. There are a few other things. Anyways, we'll shuffle those up. We'll put those face down. Each city-state gets 6 of these cubes. And that's how you set up to play the game. That's to set up the game for play. So let's say that we have the game set up for play. Now I'll show you how to set up a round, but I'm not going to go into a round. I'll go into it in the next video because it's easier just to do this in small chunks. And by the time you finish your ice cream, you might be ready to do something else. So we'll try to make this short and sweet. Anyway, here we're going to set up for a round. To set up for a round, it's pretty easy. What we're going to do is we're just going to flip 1 progress card, 1 decline card, and 4 of these culture cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, by completing these, we're going to get to choose these cards. Now, I think I already mentioned this before, but let me just say this again, that that these cards here, the blue cards, which are the velocity cards, and the purple cards, which are the invention cards, they're worth victory points at the end of the game, and that's how you win the game, person with the most victory points. These red cards are not worth any victory points. However, they give you an in-game bonus that you can use on your turn. Once you use it, you flip it over so you can't use it again until the next round. Not next turn, but next round. And these are all different. All the red cards have different powers. Except for these starting armies, they all have the same powers. But on here, for instance, sabotage, advance an opponent once on track 4. So you're sabotaging them. In this case, you would sabotage somebody and try to get them into civil war. Here, change a 5 you just rolled into a 1, siege tactics. So instead of actually going to war, you're going to use siege tactics, and that's going to help you avoid having to roll a 5 and putting it on golden age. That change a 5 you rolled into a 1, that's really powerful. It's probably better than a starting army because you don't have to place something on the 5 and you're advancing there instead. But that's how you set up the game. Then you'll just go clockwise. When you play, you'll just roll clockwise. This person will roll 4 dice. We'll choose how they want to advance, put their cubes on there, and advance. And we'll get into that on the next video. If you're interested in this and you just want to see how a round plays out, then go ahead and click on the next video. If it's up there, you can click on it. This is the second time I've done a video like this, so wish me luck. Let's see how this works out. Thanks. Bye.